Moin Moin and welcome everyone. My name is Nicholas. I'm from Shopware Team Developer Relations, and today I want to talk about B2B components, so features inside of Shopware that are used by people who are doing business with other businesses, B2B, business to business. And I want to talk about this with Joshua Behrens from Heptacom. Hi Joshua.
Hi Nicholas.
So you are an active member of the community, as they say. So you are on the stage sometimes and you are talking to people from Shopware like me, doing things, bringing ideas in. But you're also a software developer or engineer, and you are a solution specialist. At least that's what you told me. What is a solution specialist?
A solution specialist is a role that you can acquire in an agency and other supporting roles, and is also a certificate you can acquire from Shopware by proving that you know how things around and within the shop are working. So as a solution specialist, I need to know how things are working inside of the shop, outside of the shop, how people are interacting with that, and help others to understand what they should do next. So tell programmers how things work, tell shop owners how things work, and to plan that along.
So it's like a consultant, but more technical knowledge behind that and more process knowledge, but you are giving advice on how to implement processes from either other shop systems or from the offline world into e-commerce systems. Okay. And you are also responsible at Heptacom for the B2B components in terms of you are doing the research at Heptacom into projects, right?
Yes, exactly. So I'm always part of some sort of workshops where we try to understand what the parts of the shop that are presented to different roles, shop customers or employees at the customers or people at the warehouse, how they need to, what their pain points are in their daily business, and understand how existing solutions can already support on that. And the B2B components are quite often part of that.
All right. So B2B components, we talked about this a little bit, or I mentioned it a few times. You mentioned it a few times. Maybe we should have a quick overview of what B2B components are, because you out there as a viewer, we do not expect you to be familiar here with B2B components. We will get into some story time in a moment, what you actually, Joshua, what you did with B2B components. And before that, so there is a B2B suite that a lot of people use. It's from Shopware 5 or was developed during the Shopware 5 times a few years back, and then also similarly used in Shopware 6. And now the B2B components are the successor where Shopware tries to replace the B2B suite with newer, more modular functionality piece by piece, right? So it's a set of modular functionality for Shopware. Would you agree on this description?
Yes, I totally do, because this is even represented in the administration, for example, because you can just enable the things that you really need. So it's really modular.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us an example of some of these B2B features?
So, for example, also with side on the modularity, you can, for example, just enable employee management and get some roles that control who can, for example, invite others to join your company representation within the shop seen from the customer side. But you do not need or might not need the order approval process where others approve what you are allowed to buy. And well, that already also exists, the order approval part, and other parts where customers can, for example, request quotes for certain cards or get their orders done more quickly by adding shopping lists and the quick order feature. And there's there are a lot of things going on there.
Yeah. So one typical thing for B2B shops is to not make business with anyone who stops by the website, but you have to apply for an account, and then in this account you may want to have multiple people from a company that buys from you, and some people are not allowed to buy above a certain threshold value, in a certain time frame, and all of this are features that are added by the B2B components, but not all at once. But you can mix and match whatever you need. So we promised a little bit of story time, and oh, by the way, the B2B components start with the plan. So Shopware has the community edition. The B2B components are available from Evolve. And then stuff is also in Beyond that's not in Evolve, but it starts with the Evolve plan. Right. So just that out there. Let's get a little bit to story time, because what I wanted to talk with you about is how do you use these, and how do you also can extend this? Because I already mentioned you are a developer. And as a developer myself, I don't develop actively on Shopware anymore, but I'm still, as they say, a developer at heart. And in my spare time. But so I always want to get a feeling for something. And as everything with Shopware, you have access to the source, although it is not classically open source, of course, the B2B components. But you still have access to the source and can do things with it. So one thing is the features, but story time. What things did you do? And you already said before we hit the record button that you added a feature that is now also added by default. So you basically added it yourself, and now it's in the future, it's getting in the B2B components by default. What are we talking about here? What is the feature, and what did you do?
So the feature is to get even more structure within the customer and employee representation, or the company representation within the shop.
Companies, meaning the companies you are doing business with as a merchant.
Exactly. So you register an account in the shop, get elevated to have the company management, so to say. And when you have partner companies, or you are just registering as a branch office and you technically belong to another company and all the employees need to be managed in there as well, we need some sort of layer on top. So right now you have the customer that represents the company, and beneath that you have employees. And now on top, what we've added is an organization layer that can, so to say, connect all these customers and employees to a bigger structure, but makes the order process the same. So a branch office still orders for themselves, but you can technically configure for every branch office without having to have several administrators. So you just need one administrator and can configure everything. And well, we are in contact with you and tell you about our features.
Shopware.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Not me personally.
Yeah. So we get in contact with you and tell you what the requirements are that our clients have, so you can better understand how your software is used. And therefore, I have seen and got contacted that there is also an organization structure coming from your side. So we will soon migrate.
Yeah, but it goes to show that for one, we listen. And then also it is obviously possible to create features yourself that you need. Yes, if they come later from Shopware or not is a different story, but it is possible to implement without having to, found a different company just for that feature, because it's so highly complicated to work with these B2B components, which is obviously not the case. Just to make this example more clear before we get to this, or to make this situation more clear, an example, let's say we have a paper company, I know Dunder Mifflin, and this paper company has different offices in different cities. So this would be the branches, but the whole organization has somewhere a head office. And now our merchant who wants to have, or who's doing this B2B business, would then have Dunder Mifflin as a company at the company Dunder Mifflin, and then all the branches would be separate companies, but under the umbrella of the parent company. And one person in the parent company can then administer all the employees in all the branches. So this is the feature that is now coming to the B2B components, and you already did this. How do you go about adding features to the B2B components in general?
So it's quite similar to extending Shopware in general, because you are providing entities and you have documentation on how to extend entities, and that works the same in the B2B components as in regular Shopware. So we add new tables, have that relate to existing tables, and make sure that we make use of events and store APIs and extend these that you already provide. Mm-hmm. And for example, the organization, to put that on top, it was quite easy, I would say, to add, because the overview, for example, when you need to look into more employees than your own, you just have one service that you need to decorate and say, okay, I just need to change that query behind that and say it's not just my companies, some more companies. And the UI has no change needed to support that. And that was, so to say, quite easy to work with.
That's something where you got lucky. But yeah, absolutely. So the B2B components, as any extension that is written in the plugin system or on top of the plugin system, adds services into the I container. You get some, events, whatever, and then you just extend this. And in your own plugin, you then depend on the B2B components, and that's it. And then it's just additional functionality, but the extension process works the same as with Shopware itself. Okay. And you have another example or another thing that you wanted to talk about, and this is about subscription cards and pending orders.
Exactly. So right now, when you want to subscribe or have a subscription offering within your shop, you can say, okay, this product, for example, will get 5% discount when you order it on a subscription basis.
So meaning the paper company gets, 3 tons of paper every month. And because they get it every month, you get 5% discount.
For example, yeah. Mm-hmm. So as a paper vendor, you want to offer that for bigger customers that make bigger orders or more frequent orders. And this is technically done quite interesting, because a subscription is just an order marked with some more information that it's recurring, but it's coming from a card. And there are also different ways how you control the card. For example, with a pending order. Let's
step back for a moment. So this is how it works now. This is nothing you built?
This is nothing we've built. So okay. The subscription features are completely part of something we already have within.
It's in the B2B components. You're just describing how it worked before you laid hands on it.
Exactly.
And now you talked about that the basket is, that the order is a basket. You need to explain this a bit, I think.
Okay. So a subscription starts as soon as you pay, so to say, the first order, or you place the first order, and it's marked with, it's coming from a subscription. Mm-hmm. So quite technically, you're generating a new card, put an item in there, mark the card as a subscription, and place it as an order. And now the order knows it's part of a subscription plan.
But it's just a flag in the normal ordering system of Shopware, and now it's flagged as a subscription. Okay.
Yeah, there's some more information onto that about the recurring plan. So it's more than just a flag, but technically it's marked as a subscription. And after that, the order will be repeated, or when you want to skip one payment or one iteration of that, that's also possible. But there's a way that a client of ours thought in a way, when we want to have a subscription, I also want to have someone check on that if we want to pay for that on a monthly basis, for example.
So from the company who subscribed?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So there should be some level of it shouldn't be an automatic subscription, but every month it needs to be checked. Yes, I really want it that month.
What I want to describe is that it's checked at first. So after that, the repetition just happens.
From Shopware Basic, you have the subscription and it just gets sent out every month or whatever you set as a time.
Exactly. But we do have, I can add something to that later. But yeah, so we need someone to approve what someone wants to try to order as a subscription. Yeah. And for that, we already have the pending order process. So you can ask for approval or force someone to ask for approval before ordering something. And as these are quite modular, these features work quite well with key features from Shopware. And a pending order is quite technically just a card that waits to be approved. So it's still recalculating every time you look at it until you make it into an order. And you can put a subscription card into that as well and let someone else approve on that. Of course, the UI would not know yet that it's a subscription card, so you have to add that one. But after that, it's still placing an order. A subscription card converted into an order will be bought regularly. So you can just put that in front of there if you just make them know each other a bit better. And then you have like a subscription combination with the pending order process.
Okay, and this is only then for the initial booking of the subscription, or
it is, okay. Yeah.
Otherwise, it would defeat the idea of having a subscription service if you manually need to approve it every time it gets sent out.
Yeah, but for example, there are some concerns behind that because prices could change, and we added a part where a subscription is automatically stopped, so to say, and requesting a new approval for that.
When the price goes up.
For example, yeah.
When it goes down, nobody cares. Okay. That's actually nice. So these were the big features, but the features that were the most interesting that you implemented on top of the B2B components, right?
So the pending orders are really a good case because they are quite flexible, and we also added something else to them. And the pending orders, for example, have rules in that. So in theory, you have the rule builder in the storefront. That's quite interesting, and you can build some really crazy things with that.
Can you give me an example?
You can check whether a certain employee has a certificate. So this is the custom part. Okay. Yeah? You can add programmatically a rule that checks whether an employee has sort of a certificate that approves that they are allowed to buy, for example, certain chemicals.
Oh.
And when you want to do that on employee level, let's get a bit technical here, have an extension onto the employee entity, adding some information about that they are allowed to do that. You build a rule for the storefront rule builder, I would say, that checks for that. And then you can prevent people from ordering things that they are not allowed to do, and someone else need to approve that because they are not.
Someone else with a certificate in this case.
Yeah.
That is actually nice. What do you mean by storefront rule builder?
So the approvals that you need to acquire are pending on a certain condition. So, for example, an easy case, you are not allowed to buy or place a cart that is more than 100 euros.
Yeah.
And you're not in, so to say, you do not have the budget for that because you're not allowed to spend more than that. And someone else needs to approve that. And this can vary between different scenarios. So it's sometimes not just about how much is the cart worth, but how much, what kind of products are in there.
The chemicals again,
for example. And these are quite technical approaches and flexible approaches where you are not quite sure what you will eventually use the pending orders for. But the pending orders just know, okay, someone needs to approve something. They don't know what you need to approve. But for that, you have a similar approach to the rule builder you have in the administration, where you, for example, have like a rule that you can attach to payment methods. Where you can approve someone to be an ineligible user to invoice payments, for example. You can also just have a rule that says, okay, I check, for example, for a tag on the customer. Are they allowed to do invoices? And just put it onto the payment method and you're good to go. And Shopware does not need to know technically what you checked for or what your business requirement is behind that. And the similar thing is in the storefront. You can build your own rules and say, okay, under these conditions, you need someone else to check on that. Shopware, in technical terms, does not care about why, but you can build your own business rules around that. And this is quite nice.
Yeah. And this is in the storefront because the companies who are setting these rules for their employees do not have access to the administration, but to the storefront.
Exactly.
And is this something that you build custom, or is it in the store in the Shopware B2B components?
So the rule builder part is already part. It's stock. It comes with the B2B components. But yeah, the chemical check thing is
that's custom built. But yeah, that's a nice thing, and it's I think it's also important to understand how this, or it was an important detail for those of you out there who did not yet work with the B2B components, that you get this power to your customer or to your customer companies. How do you say this professionally? I don't know. But to the people that are buying your stuff, they immediately get a lot of organizational tools inside the storefront, so you do not have people running around your administration interface and doing things.
Indeed, and it lowers the support income or up tickets or calls that anyone say, okay, I want to limit something, and you do not have to really try to implement it for them
yourself. Yeah. But you of course need to onboard someone in the company, but that's just one-time effort, and then they can have kind of a self-service portal with Shopware.
It is, and it's a really good base for that. So all the things around that can be also used automatically. For example, when you use the registration process that you already have at hand, you can mark that on registering, for example, in a specific registration form, you can elevate already the configuration for this customer and automatically give them organization structuring rights, and they can just start right away.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, so Joshua, thank you very much for your story time and for shedding a little bit of light on what the B2B components can be used for, and also that they can use as kind of a framework, as a base for your own extensions and just, be customized. And to everyone watching who already has Evolve or Beyond plan, look into the B2B components. It's part of your plan. And maybe you can use it, even if you are not having B2B customers. Some features can be even useful for your merchant. So look into it, and extending on top of them can add value that you may not see if you're not looking into this. That's the key message. Look at it. Try to make something great with it. Okay, Joshua, thank you very much for being here and sharing this with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Then have a great day.
Bye.
And everyone out there, thank you for watching, and see you next time.